When Alex Salmond was sitting in the seat that Angus Robertson was sitting in 10 years ago, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. You could feel the anticipation on the SNP benches, the desire to get stuck into the independence referendum, and to give it their credit, they built a campaign that was quite phenomenal. It was quite daunting. Today, the more that Angus Robertson said, and I'm sure he said it several times, who could fail to be excited? I am hugely excited. I am hugely encouraged. The more he implored people to be excited, the more the backbenchers stuck into their laptops and looked at their phones. There is no anticipation. There is no excitement about this. Now, I am somebody who does get excited about written constitutions, but even I haven't read this paper. I'd be surprised if less than 0.0001% of the population have read this document that's been produced by the new Minister. No, not just now. I'm sorry. I've only got 4 minutes and I've got so much to say. I've not read it. No, I haven't read it. And I'm not going to read it. And I'll tell you why I'm not going to read this paper. Because this week I have been dealing with constituents who are facing cuts to fire services in their constituency. I have been dealing with the victims of Professor El-Jamel at Dundee, who have been scarred for life by that professor because of a failed system. I've been dealing with a family who is desperate. Now they're looking at their phones. Now they're not interested. The only thing that gets them interested is the Constitution. When they face the hard reality of life that my constituents are facing, they're no longer interested anymore. That's the harsh reality. I'm dealing with patients in Newborough who are about to have their NHS dentist closed. I am dealing with a family of a beaten-up pupil in my constituency because of violence and behaviour in our schools. I have been dealing with a constituent who has been waiting for months to get their adult disability payment because now Scotland has longer waits than the DWP, the evil DWP, according to the SNP. These are the harsh realities of life. It's not a written constitution for a fantasy independence campaign that nobody on these benches are at all excited about because they simply don't believe it's going to happen. We're wasting our time. Last week, we were having a debate about the Care and Justice Bill for children. We were debating whether people should go through the children's hearing system and whether they should go to secure units rather than young offenders institution. I had 4 minutes. We had a whole range of issues to discuss. Enormous, massive consequences. A good bill, potentially mismanaged, and that's why we need to spend more time on it. We were given 4 minutes to discuss this phenomenally important bill. Today we've got this fantasy debate just to keep this lot united behind their First Minister who's failing. We need to be focusing on the harsh reality that my constituents are facing, and I know all of your constituents are facing as well. So let's get real. Today of all days, they choose to have this debate. We have got the longest delayed discharge of all time. It was supposed to have been eradicated, but of all time, they chose today to debate that. Not cancer waiting times that they could have debated, the worst on record again. Why are we not debating those issues rather than this fantasy paper? I'd be surprised if even the backbenches have read it. It's so bloody boring. Let's get focused on what matters in people's lives rather than wasting our time with this debate.